Hello and welcome back to the Not Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Another Euro 2020 finals video. Could be the last one on this, depending how Scotland go against Croatia, and you can check out our reaction to that once it is live on the channel on Tuesday. We'll have the reaction to the game on our website over the course of Tuesday, and then our video reaction on here probably Wednesday evening type time. Depending how that goes, we'll either be crying for 24 hours or still won't be able to look at laptop screens and things like that with clear vision. But enough about that. We'll worry about that when it comes around. Not long to go now as I record this on Monday. Yes, but our Euro 2020 files video, our next one is with Bryan Gunn, well remembered for his time with Aberdeen and then with Norwich City, who has a massive affinity with south of the border. Speaking about his time at Italia 90 with the Scotland squad, he was third choice keeper and perhaps one of a few players who knew they were going to that tournament and weren't going to play any minutes. A few Scotland players find themselves in that scenario. So some interesting insight into how you deal with that scenario if you're perhaps a John McLaughlin or a John Fleck, a Declan Gallagher, who have seen there, who John Fleck and I think he's been on the bench. Declan Gallagher's not been in a squad yet. John McLaughlin's third choice keeper is very unlikely to get any minutes. Craig Gordon as well is the second choice keeper, probably unlikely to get minutes as well. Given that every Scotland game pretty much is massive. It's not like Netherlands or Italy who can change their goalies during the game. So I have plenty of insight into that. As with the last few, just with the timings, interviews and things like that, this was recorded before Scotland's draw against England. The way that game worked out in the 0-0 draw still works out fairly positive and things like that. So if you're wondering why I'm talking about going down to Wembley and getting a result, that's why. It's because it was recorded on the Thursday. So apologies if that makes some of the answer, perhaps some of the questions a wee bit awry, but still plenty of stuff there, as well as speaking a bit about former Kilmarnock goalkeeper Daniel Backman, currently at the Euros with Austria, and Bryan is his agent and works with him on his sort of affairs at Watford now, where he is, and a bit about what Bryan's going to be up to in the summer as well. Obviously a very busy time, and he's got some stellar goalkeepers he works with as an agent these days, so plenty of good insight over the course of this half hour. So hope you enjoyed. Do remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time. I don't know, just before going on to the Scotland stuff as well, I don't know if you've seen the UEFA, the Conference League draw that get done this afternoon. I don't know if have you seen the draw?
No. What's that for Aberdeen?
For Aberdeen, they've got BK Hacken, who are obviously based in Gothenburg.
Okay, right, okay.
So I don't know actually if they've been back to Gothenburg since a certain final.
I imagine they've been back for a holiday, but not for a football match, just to reminisce and things like that. But probably not. Well, I mean, it's a lovely place, but not back in 1983 when it was pissing down with rain all night. So I think the Aberdeen fans will have different memories of Gothenburg. And most of them would be drunken or coming back on a ferry, which probably took them 2 days before they got back as well. So
it's weird how football works, I suppose. So many different ties, and then I think as soon as people seen that it was a potential return to Gothenburg, then who they were getting it already.
Oh, brilliant! That's good.
But no, in terms of the national team and stuff, you've been not so much Monday, but enjoying the Euros after 5 years it is since we've last had one, and it's been a few decent matches in so far.
Yeah, I think it's been exciting. I've been watching on and off as much as I can. I mean, I think watching football on television at the moment has been a bit monotonous with having to do it since last February, last March it was. After the lockdown, that was the only way really to watch football. And one of my main jobs now is out there watching our talent, our young players playing games. And I've not been able to do that too often. And my first game was actually watching England play Austria in the friendly at Middlesbrough. We look after Daniel Backman, who's the Austrian goalkeeper, Watford an Austrian goalkeeper. So I was fortunate to get a ticket, and that was my first live game of football for, I think it was for about 6 months. So apart from doing a couple of press games for BBC Radio Norfolk, I did Norwich City against Middlesbrough, and I also did Stoke City against Norwich. So a couple of bits of media work, but no actual scouting talent. So that was nice to get back in, and then hopefully in the next few months, stadium will be back to full capacity, and we'll all be able to go back to a football match to enjoy ourselves.
In the games I've been to, I've been doing sort of media stuff in stadiums and stuff for a couple of years now. And before the pandemic, at some games, you know, it was like you would it was a who's who of English clubs really at certain games with certain young playing. But this season, it's like you're just seeing Brian Rice about the place really because he's
yeah.
So I can imagine, and speaking to a few people involved in sort of your side of the game and things like that, an incredibly difficult 18 months or so.
Yeah, I mean, and not only just watching the games on television, it's obviously sitting on the laptop just now speaking to you, but watching games on small screens. And you know, I mean, predominantly I look after our goalkeepers, Jack Butland, Dan Bachman, Angus Gunn. So you know, those are the guys who go and watch. But once the camera pans off them to go to follow the ball the other end, you don't see what they're doing. And obviously at a live game, you can see, well, quite topical, I suppose. You can see what positions they take up on the pitch.
Yeah, we'll speak about that in a wee bit. Just speaking about Daniel Bachman, I spoke to him earlier in the season actually when he was when Ben Foster was just still in front of him at Watford, and sort of kept up to date with him since. Good to see him in the Austria team, because he's went a long way around at Watford. He's obviously had to be very, very patient there, and he looks like he's got his chance both domestically and internationally.
Yeah, I mean, Dan's a sort of a good example for all young goalkeepers to say that you know, it is a patience game. I mean, some get in early and keep a place and, you know, manage to forge their career very early. Others have to, you know, play the game, play the backup number 3, as a lot of clubs carry now, which Dan did for a season. Then he had the opportunity to go to Kilmarnock, which, you know, he took, he loved, helped them qualify for Europe, which was, you know, an amazing sort of, well, success at the end of the season. Then he came back and challenged Ben Foster as number 2, and then, you know, finally got into his place. And you know, I can relate that to myself at Aberdeen with Jim Leighton. You know, sort of from 1980 to 86, I played 25 games, and predominantly the most of those were in the last couple of seasons. So you know, being the backup, the number 2, the patience is there, but you've also got to train and play as if you're going to be playing in that first team every week. And you know, that's what keeps you on your toes. And then obviously when you get the chance, you've got to take it and make an impression. And you know, certainly Daniel did that. And you know, I'm delighted that he's kept his number 1 shirt, although he's wearing 13 in the tournament. He is the number 1. And I believe, like all goalkeepers, the Austrian press weren't too kind on him for the goal he let in the other night against North Macedonia. You know, we've had a conversation since then, and I tried to remind him that he made another save later in the game at 1-1, which obviously stopped the Macedonian getting the next goal, which would have been crucial. And his team went up the park and they scored their second goal, and then went on to score a third goal through Marko Arnautovic. So it just shows you that you need to get ready. If it is a mistake, which I didn't really think it was, I think it was an unfortunate collision. And the ball, you know, just ricocheted in the direction of the striker. So, and another time it goes to safety and the defender clears it. So again, it's such a close call. You know, some of these so-called mistakes that goalkeepers make, you know, maybe untrained eyes would call them mistakes, but certainly people with knowledge on goalkeeping and goalkeeping training and coaching would have a different scenario to talk about.
I have played, compared to you and Daniel Bachman, I have played at 0 level. I played for under 12s at Aberdeen back in the day. That's about as far as that's about as far as up. Yeah, when you go.
There's good memories and of you. That's what it's all about. You know, you've got to take the good times with the bad times, and especially being a goalkeeper. You know, you could be the hero. 1 week, you could be the 0 the week after, but also then the hero the week after that. So I think it's about goalkeepers recovering from, you know, demeanors, pointing of the finger. You know, they're so active in the game these days, goalkeepers, that you know, it's inevitable that there'll be a bad pass back or you'll be caught out of position. And as I say, that the scrutiny is there even more now with these television cameras. the VAR, going back on things. So it's a tough game, and you've got to be strong mentally, obviously strong physically as well in the modern game to make a success of it. So long may our goalkeepers keep the ball out of the net.
Yeah, with Daniel as well. I mean, all he has to do is turn the other way and he probably saves it. But fine margins and
yeah, you spin to the right, and you're there, or you stay down in the ground and you get a foul. There's options there that different scenarios could have happened, and the referee could have looked at it in a different way. But and even the VAR obviously looked at it and thought there was no foul there when it was a collision. But I say Daniel's over that now. Looking forward to his next game. I believe it's against Holland tomorrow night. So that'll be a tough game and an exciting game for him to play in.
Good stuff. Looking on the Scotland game, then I could go and dissect the game and what happened and stuff, but I might as well jump to the point that if they'll be expected to hear and things. Like obviously, David Marshall is the one that's been spoken about, and he's went from national hero to he's found himself on Wipeout and Spider-Man memes and all these different things online. How did you sort of view the goal? Because there's been so much debate over it this week, and I'm sure you'll probably have a goalkeepers union and all that defending.
Well, I've coached David at Norwich, so I know what a lad he is, what a good lad he is, and he prides himself on his professionalism. So I'm sure he'll be disappointed that the way the goal went in. And for me looking at it a couple of times, he was probably just maybe 5-10 yards out of position, maybe too far forward in on this occasion. But also, if you look at the makeup of the back three centre halves, I think it was Henry that went forward to have the speculative shot from 25 yards that was blocked, but also the likes of Grant Hanley and Cooper were over on the left side, so nobody was actually covering that right side, and the ball ricocheted there. So again, it was a chance ricochet where the ball went to, but. Credit to the striker. He looked up. He said he looked up before and saw David off his line before, but you got to take him for his word on that. But he tried that, and you would say probably 99 times out of 100, maybe less, maybe say let's say like 95 out of 100, he misses those. But they certainly don't go in the position it went in the other day. And David had a good effort, a good attempt to get back, and unfortunately ended up in the back of the net. So I would say it was more positioning and just being caught out unaware that the ricochet ended up where it was, and just had that sort of split second slow reaction to get there. So I don't point fingers at David Marshall on that, but I think it was a sort of an episode of things that happened for it to get to that position. I'd also go back to say that the chances that Scotland had on the day far outweighed, sort of the main chances that the Czech Republic had. But saying that, the saves that David Marshall made in the game as well seem to be erased and forgotten from people's memories. But David's been in the game long enough now. He's played in many, many big games. He's probably had to recover from a defeat before or a bad goal before. And, what a time to do that for a game at Wembley. And I think everyone should be focusing, and, the positive thought should be going towards Wembley now, and hope that, David will make those world-class saves that we've seen him make so many times over the years. And obviously, he was one of the main reasons for Scotland getting to these finals as well. So, I think we owe him that to, give him the credit that he deserves, and say, look, get on with the next game, and we're right behind you.
I feel like there's almost been a thing of you can't say he was 5 yards off his line and it's a good strike as well. It has to be one or the other. It's either it's a David Marshall mistake or a Patrick Schick wonder goal. You can't say, well, maybe he should have been 10 yards back.
Yeah.
And the striker hit it well. I mean, I think when that went in and the ricochet happened, I think at that point you're just like, nah, this isn't happening today.
Yeah, it was like slow motion, obviously, wasn't it? When it happened, it was like we all went, this doesn't look good. And the fact that the guy had even tried it from there on the run, you got to take your hat off to him for doing that. And I say we had some chances. We were unfortunate with deflections onto crossbar. There was brave defending from the Czech defenders. There was good goalkeeping from the goalkeeper as well. I wouldn't say it was bad misses, but there was misses. That more lethal on the day. You'd have hoped they'd ended up in the back of the net. But again, the strikers have an opportunity to overcome that on Friday at Wembley. And any result, I suppose, that keeps Scotland in the tournament. We'll see the boys coming back up to Hampden Park for the next game as with a pat on the back at least. Obviously, to win the game, they could quite easily turn into legends. So let's look at the positive bit and let's get right behind them and sort of cheer them on. I think as they deserve.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're based down south just now.
Yeah, I live in Cheshire. We moved up to Cheshire from Norwich back in 2010 when Angus signed for Manchester City as a schoolboy. My daughter was going to Manchester University of Manchester to do her fashion business design degree. My wife's originally from the Northwest as well, so it was a great opportunity for us to sort of move as a family. We're all here. Well, I'm here, and Susan's here 10 years later, so our kids are in different parts of the country.
I'm assuming, is that right? I might just get this wrong. I know folk maybe watch this and read this and think, what the fuck's he on about? But I'm assuming that's down next to Cheshire Oaks. Is it down
Cheshire Oaks is, probably about 25 miles away. I must admit, it's not a place that I frequent. But Cheshire Oaks.
I'm just wondering because I was on holiday in that neck of the woods like a couple of weeks ago. So when you said that, I was like, Jesus. I
mean, Cheshire is quite a big place, obviously, and I'm not sure whether I'm just trying to figure out whether it's on the outskirts of Chester, I think, Cheshire Oaks. But yeah, as I say, it's not a place I frequent. You can see on my fashion sense is golfing t-shirts and slacks and things like that these days. So I just tend to shop locally. But Cheshire is Cheshire, and Cheshire Oaks is Cheshire Oaks.
Lovely. Right. I'll steer away from that. I didn't expect to speak. No, Wisdom had been like down there. Can I get the sense that it's very much people down south, especially the further south you go, are expecting this to be a bit of a horsing on Friday.
Well, the horsing is well, we need to translate that for any English that are.
I was starting to think that I've got a very Scottish demographic on here.
No, but to be fair, I got an invite to a pub on Friday night with another Scotsman based down here, James Macbeth Stewart, who was the resort director at the Belfry Hotel. He lives close to where I live in Cheshire, and he wanted some support. I live close to where Paul Dickoff lives as well, so he was trying to get all us jocks together. I think to try and either outweigh or outsing the English in the pub as well. So I sat on the fence 50-50 because I've got another invite to go up to Newcastle, possibly to do a fans for, well, it's not a forum, but one of those fans parks, and maybe do a Q&A with John Beresford. I'm just waiting for that to be confirmed, so I could be getting a lot of stick in Geordieland. But yeah, I'd imagine that and I've been on a WhatsApp Zoom call today with my golfing friends, and they were just talking about the score, and I said it'd be 1-1. That was my prediction, and they were all going for 2 and 3-0. My Irish counterpart, who was there as well, Barry Hunter, an ex-professional footballer and chief scout at Liverpool now, he said that he thought that England would win. So the Celtic brothers didn't stay together. So I'm disappointed with him. But I wasn't disappointed in the way that Scotland played the other day. They showed signs that attacking, that they made some chances. There's a lot of talk about whether there was the right personnel in the team. So that'll be interesting to see what lineup starts at Wembley, and I'm sure the lads that play, put on the jersey, will be as fired up as anybody. Steve Clarke will be probably trying to calm them down more than anything else to play the game and not the occasion. I know it's not a full house at Wembley, but it'll be a fantastic atmosphere. I don't know how many tickets Scots have got, but I'm sure whatever amount of fans are in there, it's going to be they're going to make a noise. I'm sure they're going to be well supported in the streets around the stadium as well, the pubs and fan parks if they can get into. I believe that there's a contingent forming the way to London as we speak.
A contingent of around 100,000, I think it might be.
Well, it's a big place, London, so hopefully all those parks are ready for them. And there's it's one of those occasions that that sort of fervour, that sort of backing might just add to the the extra percentage that the lads need on the day, to help them through, because it's going to be a tough game, no doubt about it. England have got some top quality players in their squad, and but our guys are getting used to playing with them as well at the same level. It's good to see so many of the lads at the highest level in the Premier League and playing against the teammates. So that'll be interesting as well, because it's another thing, playing those five-a-sides north v south on the training ground. But when you have to go back to pre-season training, with a defeat hanging over you, that's another thing that's not very nice. And I'm sure the lads would like to get one up on their English teammates.
Yeah, I think this one was probably viewed as the free hit, despite it probably being the one that fans want to win the most, just with the bragging rights and stuff. But I think it's 3 points can get you out this group potentially if you finish third. So I think if you're Scotland, I know Croatia's not going to be an easy task by any matter of means, but if Czech Republic get a positive result against them, it's the Croatia one, I think, could be the big one for Scotland, because I think England, at least the game on Sunday, they look like they could go up another gear or two if they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I said quality. The quality's there. The goals are there. Those players not even in the 23, probably adding up to over 150 million pounds worth of value. So it just shows you their strength and depth they've got. But at the same time, now it's I mean, if you can get a result, I mean, I'd be happy with a 1-1. Take that away from Wembley, and then put all your eggs in one basket against the Croatians and see where they end up after their game against the Czech Republic. So it's going to be that third place is probably going to be the one that's going to be crucial in this. And if Scotland can get that 1 or 4 points, or even the 3 points, as you say, whichever way they get it. Hopefully, it includes something against England that sees them through. So that's, as I say, I'm the positive one well, I suppose I'm the positive one down south. So I'm hoping to hold everyone together, and if they listen to this podcast, then hopefully we'll sprinkle a bit more magic over a few more people as well.
Good stuff. You spoke about third choice keepers and stuff a bit earlier, and just obviously you've had a bit of tournament experience at the World Cup 1990, albeit never got in the park. I suppose John McLaughlin's probably in that role now. And there's a few, I think Steve Clarke said before the tournament, I think there's maybe 6 or 7 in that squad that he's taking, that they already know that unless an exceptional circumstance happens, they're not playing. I mean,
yeah,
they're grateful to be there, but I mean, that must be difficult to deal with. You want to play in these games, but you pretty much know you're just helping the guys to play in them.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's right. And if that's the way that Steve's explained their selection to them, then fair enough. They know where they stand. If they know where they stand anyway themselves, they're obviously going with that knowledge. But tournament football throws in weird things. Every now and then injuries will come along unexpected. The close proximity of the games mean that recovery times are less. So my experience was you go there and you support your team, you support the squad. I played in the build-up. I made my debut against Egypt in the build-up to Italy '90. So I got that game. I don't know had I played any better in the game. We unfortunately got beat 3-1 at Pataudry as well. It was a bit of an unfortunate evening. I think I was telling some people in Norwich last week when I was doing some lunches and dinners that I got a pass back from Gordon Jury from about the halfway line, and unfortunately, Egypt's top scorer and top player of their time, he noticed this pass back, and I was hoping to send the ball forward to the halfway line, but I actually sent, I think it's Hossein Hossam, to Aberdeen Royal Infirmary with a double-fisted punch to his head. Unfortunately, he got a little flick on the ball and it ended up in the back of the net. So that wasn't a great start to my debut at Pataudry, and then we went on to lose 3-1 in the game. I always say that that was the best Egyptian team ever to take the field. I think they went on to draw a couple of games in the World Cup as well. They were in England's group and drew a couple of games within that. So that's my only way of getting out of that defeat by Egypt. But yeah, then you go away on the tournament. I think we had a trip to Malta in the build-up. We did a 10-day training camp there, which was good and enjoyable. See the spirit and the bonding all happens there. And I think when you're one of those extra players that you described, or the third choice goalkeeper, you've got to have that enthusiastic air about you. You're there to support the lads and to try and help them get through to the next round. I mean, unfortunately, when we got to Italia '90, we got beat by Costa Rica in the first game, which was a massive shock. Totally misjudged the level that the Costa Ricans were at. But then in the next game beat Sweden 2-1 and gave us a chance to probably qualify for the final stages. But we had Brazil in the last game, so that was made it even trickier. But right up until probably the late 70 odd minutes, before they scored, we were still in with a chance and of moving on to the next stage of the tournament. But that's what happens. It could be down to the last 5 minutes of a game, and if Scotland can keep in the game at Wembley, through to the end and keep it tight. Who knows? Somebody might pop up with a winner, and as I say, be that hero that comes back to Scotland, and all the papers and the press guys will be talking about them, and the last game against Czech Republic will be forgotten.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to Stuart McCall. He's probably the only one sort of around your era, and he sort of spoke.
Yeah.
It's great. Obviously, I'm speaking to you because you've been to the World Cup and different things and been with Scotland in the national team set up and stuff, and you're still getting spoken to about it. But 31 years later, I think it is.
Yeah.
Too old. But it's time for new heroes, almost like my generation. You've seen all the kids in the primary schools watching the Scotland games with John McGinn kits on them. They're sort of taking the mantle from you in terms of, you don't want it to be another wait as long as it has been, but they take the mantle from you. Sort of, they are the next ones to be at the major.
That would be fantastic, and I think quite right as well, because it's been too long. We speak about it in Scotland. We failed to another tournament, and I think this has given the whole nation a lift, and especially in these pandemic times, and people staying at home watching games on telly, and it's been hard, and these games now will lift the nation. And although it was a deflation the other day, it didn't seem right at 2:00 kickoff on a Monday afternoon. It was like, this needs to be at night time. And Hampden, people said Hampden was rocking at 2:00 in the afternoon. By the way, I think the press that I heard that said it was an amazing atmosphere, considering it was only 9,000.
12,000 sounded like 60.
Yeah. So that just shows you, that being a night game, it could have been even more. And Scotland have had some great victories at Hampden Park, and the next one will hopefully be against the Croatians. But if the guys go down to Wembley and do a job, that will lift the nation again. And that's what the football team are there for, to bring joy to people. and get them supporting them, get right behind them, and I'm sure they will do.
Yeah, Scottish football, as you know, is a private place. There's very little solidarity with different clubs and things like that, unless there's a very exceptional circumstance. But I think in the build up to the Czech Republic game, there's a few folk just not wanting the build up to end because it was so positive. There was so many things being said, and we've not seen that in a literal generation. So I don't know if you're the same, but Scottish football needs to sort of try and build on this now, and for these kids that are watching these games in Scotland kits and things like that, that they are inspired to go down the local park and kick a ball and things like that. And I know that's a wider topic on the impacts of stuff like this, but it can have a proper impact on them sort of youngsters coming through.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And everyone needs a hero, and hopefully the guys at Wembley can do that. Like the guys in this squad can be the heroes for the future.
Overall, for you, I mean, even if Scotland, by the time you're watching this in a week or something, or things like that, and Scotland have been put out and there's teams playing in the last 16 and stuff, I know it's not, you don't want to just be sitting, it's good to get here and have a party and things like that and just go out after 3 games, but it has been a nice change to see Scotland at the top table again, and hopefully it's a build to they're there in Qatar 2022 and then the tournaments after that.
Well, it's a quick turnaround, isn't it? I mean, once these Euros are finished, the fixture list came out for the Premier League today. Obviously, the Scottish Premiership came out the other day as well. We're getting ready for the next season already. It's all happening around us, and I think it's August the 14th is the first game of the Premier League season. So the lads won't have too much time to recover. The ones that go on in the tournament. I'm sure the Scottish lads will be hoping that they're part of those group of players that won't have long to recover. Maybe a week, 10 days off before they go back into a pre-season training schedule, which will be probably adapted for these guys because they've been playing so much football in a condensed football in a short space of time. So, and then I believe it's straight in August the 14th, and then I think the first international break's the 4th of September. So that will be World Cup qualifiers. So it just needs a couple of decent results there, and you've got a chance of going to the World Cup in, I think it's December 22, isn't it?
Yeah.
So all of these games are part of the experience now, building up the experience. Could have quite easily been a different result against the Czech Republic. Could have been a draw. Could have been, Scotland could have scored first and got themselves going that way. But it's every game changes the face of things. So this is a bit more pressure on the lads now going to Wembley to do something, and then coming out of this tournament. If they get through to the next stages, that would be fantastic. And I think that's what we're all hoping for at the moment. And then take each round as it comes. But at the moment, is take each game as it comes, and then see where we are come next week. So I can only wish the lads all the best. Stevie Clark, one of my ex-teammates in the Scotland youth setup. Stevie Clark scored a winning goal in the Azteca Stadium in Mexico. I think it was back in 83, 84. 100,000 Mexicans screaming at us. Stevie scored 1-0. That means that the goalkeeper had a clean sheet, and I was the goalkeeper at the other end. So I was proud to be part of that squad with Stevie Clark back then. So I just hope that some of that luck that we had that night rubs off on them in Wembley on Friday.
And maybe he'll smile as well if we win.
That's going to be very difficult. That's very difficult for Steve. He's always been like that, never changed. Very dry. He has got a very good dry sense of humour as well. I like Steve. Obviously, I came across him as well when we took Daniel Bachmann up the road to Kilmarnock. So, back then he was very happy that we did that. But then it was straight on to work mode, and he's definitely got a work mode and a work ethic that he sticks to. And I'm sure there'll be a little smile if there was a good result on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but for you, so now that we're getting to the middle of June and things like that, is this busy season for the next couple of months?
Yeah, I mean, I say I've been busy on the phone, just trying to get things, speaking to people, speaking to clubs that are back into, the recruitment teams. Obviously, some of the players and the staff will still be on their holidays. I believe teams will start training the first week of July. So there will be some movement in the transfer front in the next few weeks, and we've got a good bunch of young players as well who will, clubs will identify for loan opportunities. So again, it's like helping them find the right one, working with the clubs to make that happen. So yeah, the phone's going to get busy, and then hopefully players will get settled and get ready for their pre-season, and then it's down to them to do the business on the park. So but the standard is very good. So and it's getting better all the time, and hopefully we'll see some more of our younger players playing at higher levels in first teams in the 21-22 season.